WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I got to say.
I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you for an abbreviated episode. That's right, we are off the air today at 12:45 for high school football. A lot to get into this week. Let me kick things off right off the bat. I'll give them a full mention later, but right now you might want to hop into your cars and head over to the Neshaminy Mall, as now until the top of the hour, 1 o'clock, former WWE star, the Native American Tatanka, is over at George's Cards and Collectibles in the Neshaminy Mall. He's been there since 11 this morning. He'll be there until 1 o'clock this afternoon. So if you weren't really planning anything, and heck, even if you were, hop in the car, turn on 1490 AM. You should be able to figure that out as far as the cars go and whatnot. I mean, why not? Everything's digital nowadays. And make your way over to the Neshaminy Mall to meet the Native American Tatanka. Super cool dude, and actually a little bit later I've got a Tatanka story that I'll see if I can squeeze into the show here from way back, way back. I'll just leave it at that. But to give you an idea of how nice of a guy Tatanka is, and as far as I've known, always has been. He actually, a while back, probably a couple of years ago, when he was at Sinomania with George's, even recorded a bumper for me here for the station. So nothing but great things to say about Tatanka. You should definitely go check him out. And he's at George's in the Neshaminy Mall right now. So heck of a time to get on over there. Also, a programming note, next week, off the air for high school football. So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Hell in a Cell. I'll reserve my predictions certain to go wrong. I don't know. As bad as I was with Night of Champions, I better put them up just because I guess not putting them up showed how awful they were. But, yeah, we'll get into the lineup now, plus a litany of news to talk about. Evolve getting themselves involved with WWE. We'll talk about that. In not really a huge surprise, a story regarding Hulk Hogan's themed restaurant down in the Tampa area. Doggone it. And to think I was going to check that out when I next made a trip down to that area to, well, yeah, leave that story alone. But it's been a while since I've been down in Tampa, and I was hoping to check that out, but it doesn't look like I'm going to. That pretty much gives that away. Harry Smith getting a new old name. We'll talk about that coming up. Some bad news for the WWE Tag Team division. I've got that story. The Tribute to the Troops taping and air date has been announced. I'll tell you when that is coming up. Also, a casting call placed for NXT show that is aimed at children. That's right. So some of the youngins might be getting involved in NXT, and one of the few things that even Lucas might be a little too old for. Yeah, I'm going to pick on him a little bit. Lucas, conspicuous by his absence, he is working some birthday parties down at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro today, getting some referee action. Yeah, that's right. They do birthday parties, too. You can check all that out at monsterfactory.org. Oh, also coming up a little bit later, as I had a lot of fun last week with the Spotlight on the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view. I've got a similarly interesting incident that occurred on this date, and the event is mentioned in Today in Wrestling History. So I'll check that out, or you can hear that a little bit later as far as the main event. But I don't know. I've the way this show has gone so far, I felt a little bit dirty, so I think I may have to get into some housekeeping, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we'll talk about that coming up as well. But first, the Hell in a Cell lineup. So far, 7 matches announced for the pay-per-view 1 week from tomorrow. The kickoff match, the latest to be added, a tag match of Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton taking on the Wyatt family's Braun Strowman and Luke Harper. Also, a litany of titles on the line, and then a couple that aren't have a different type of medal of sorts. First, the 4 title matches. Kevin Owens defending the Intercontinental Championship against Ryback. Actually, yeah. Yeah, I'm right there. I'm all kinds of scrambled today here. I don't know what the heck's the matter with me. Yeah, I do. This is usually where Lucas would chime in and hopefully set me straight or just, insult me in some way, shape, or form. Because he's good at doing either, I guess. I don't know. The New Day and the Dudleys, they're facing off for the tag team titles. Charlotte against Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship. And Seth Rollins defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Kane. And if Kane fails to win the title, he'll lose his Director of Operations job. So in a way, I guess it's kind of like a feast or fired type scenario. Okay, maybe not. And then a couple of Hell in a Cell matches. Roman Reigns taking on Bray Wyatt inside the Cold Steel. And then, of course, as was hyped a month ago and has had a little bit of hype via video packages since, Brock Lesnar against The Undertaker. Now, this coming Monday should be an interesting Raw, as it's going to be in Dallas. Not that that necessarily makes it interesting, but there's a litany of legends who will be there for the go-home show for Hell in a Cell. Ric Flair's been announced. Shawn Michaels has been announced. Austin's obviously going to be there. Lesnar's going to be there. Lesnar's going to be on the Austin podcast after Raw this coming Monday. So there's a lot to look ahead to as far as the upcoming weekend change between the pay-per-view and the build-up to said pay-per-view. Now, as far as some news and whatnot that's going on, another interesting wrinkle that has blurred the lines of reality versus what you see on television, not to be confused with reality TV. A couple of WWE stars engaged to be married. Yeah, I'm sure you heard about this, and if you haven't, well, this is where the breaking of kayfabe really becomes problematic, and I'm sure WWE isn't exactly thrilled with TMZ releasing this. But WWE stars Rusev, a.k.a. Miroslav Barniashev, and Lana, C.J. Perry, are engaged. That's right. Rusev and Lana engaged in real life. TMZ has published the photos of the real-life couple lying together and showing off her engagement ring. Now, WWE.com acknowledged the real-life engagement, and there's sort of been some sort of payoff with the on-screen relationship with Rusev and Summer Rae this past week. Kind of, but not, and Dolph Ziggler's kind of in there as well. It's murky, to say the least. That's probably the best way that I could use to describe it. Yeah, to say the least, Randy Savage and Elizabeth, it is not by any stretch of the imagination. And it would be better just kind of sweep it under the rug and kind of move on and just deal with it. But it looks like they're kind of painfully trying to make something out of the nothing that this has become, and has made for some rather awkward television, as opposed to the awkward radio that I bring you every Saturday from noon to... No, okay. Oh, goodness. In some more serious news, because I know I've been cracking jokes here most of the time, some unfortunate news from out of Florida. The daughter of former WWE trainer Bill DeMott was killed in a car accident. That's right. Carrie DeMott, age 20, was killed in a head-on car accident this past Saturday in Orlando, Florida. The driver of the other vehicle is hospitalized in critical condition. Police are investigating the accident, according to the Orlando Sentinel. Obviously, thoughts and condolences out to the entire DeMott family on that one. I know. Unlike Wade Barrett, I'm not a big fan of delivering bad news. He seems to revel in it. I don't. But speaking of Mr. Barrett, he might be bringing some bad news to the WWE Tag Team division. That's right. Wade Barrett telling the UK Sun that he would like to enter the WWE Tag Team division. Barrett saying, quote, "It isn't something I've done very much in the past. Pretty much consistently since I've been with WWE since 2010, I've been the bad guy singles wrestler, so I would like to do something a little different. I've always felt like I play off people well, and I was hoping the run with Stardust might last a little bit longer. But going back, I know there's a few guys that are kind of in the doldrums at the moment career-wise, so maybe pairing up with someone new and trying to go in a completely different direction to what I've done before is the next step for me." Well, if you're looking for a radio host turned aspiring wrestler and you're looking, for somebody in the doldrums career-wise, you could give me a ring. Oh, wait, that's right. I'm too old. Ooh, fourth wall broken. Lucas is going to smack the crap out of me for that one. Oh, who am I kidding? He's not going to listen back to this. Oh, all right. On that note, we'll take care of our first time out a little early. Well, actually, not really, because we only have 45 minutes today. We'll get to Ed from Northeast Philly, who's hanging on the other side. We'll also have room for more of your calls as well at 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. I'm apparently going at the Greg the Hammer Valentine pace. It takes me 45 minutes to get warmed up, or something like that. So I'll see if I can accelerate that process during this quick timeout. We'll get to Ed on the other side. We'll look at some Facebook feedback and more of your thoughts and whatnot as well. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Back in the saddle again. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, talking all kinds of stuff. We got news, notes, we got a litany of different things, and we've got Ed from Northeast Philly on the line to look at the local scene. Ed, what's going on?
Good afternoon. WWE Raw comes back to Philly December 14th at 7:30.
Oh, that's a pretty quick turnaround for the Wells Fargo Center?
Yes. Tickets on sale next week.
Oh, how about that? Usually it's at least a good 6 months before they're back in Philly. It's, okay, yeah.
Hershey has the SmackDown taping on December 1st.
Oh, that's right. I think I got an email about that one. I'm apparently more friendly with the people in Hershey than I am with the people at the Wells Fargo Center. I don't know. Maybe it's all that trash talk of the Wings that I did when they moved up to Connecticut, but that's a whole nother story for another day.
And House of Hardcore in Philadelphia at the 2300 Arena.
That's coming up next month, I think.
In November 13th.
November 13th. Yeah, okay, yeah, about a month away.
They look like they have a good lineup.
Yeah, that should be an interesting weekend to say the least. I've chatted with a little bit about that with Rob from RF Video. I know he's done a lot of the sales and promotion for the event, and I don't know. I'll have to talk to him, see if maybe I can get him on here.
Last weekend.
I'm sorry?
I ran into your buddy last weekend.
I was going to say, which one? Oh, I was going to say, wait, I have friends? This is a new concept. I didn't realize this.
Brady Hicks says hello.
Oh yeah, gosh, I haven't seen Brady in ages. I need to fix that. There's a lot of changes going on, but behind the scenes of yours truly, and I'm still watching for the changes and trying to keep up. And it's been an adventure to say the least. So yeah, there are a lot of people. Heck, the most interaction I've even had with my co-host Lucas was over the air here a couple of weeks ago on WBCB. I think the last time I saw him was when we watched Night of Champions about a month ago. So, yeah, that's how hectic things have been here in the Derry camp.
And Will's Goldust. I haven't seen him in a couple months.
Who is this?
Goldust.
Goldust, I know that he had surgery a couple of months ago, or maybe a few months ago at this point, for his shoulder. And having personally dealt with a nagging shoulder injury since, I think, April was when I initially injured it, and then 5 days later foolishly went to that 3-day Monster Factory camp and probably further aggravated it. But I don't know, at the same time had all those fun experiences that at this point it looks like I'm never going to have happen again. Wow, I am just bitterly breaking the fourth wall left, right, and sideways today. I don't know what the heck's the matter with me.
And happy belated birthday to Bruno Sammartino.
Yes, turning the big 8-0, I believe, right?
I was
going to say 1935, I think, is when he... I was going to say, you would think that this would be settling around in my head, but I don't know. There's a lot that goes on between the ears here, and a lot of it is beyond Halloween scary. So, yes, October 6th, 1935 was Bruno Sammartino. So, yes, having turned 80 about a week and change ago. About a week and a half ago.
That's about it.
All righty. Appreciate the look at the local scene as always. Ed from Northeast Philly. Appreciate the phone call as well. All right. I mentioned it at the top of the show. I'll give you another chance here. George's Cards and Collectibles. Your place for sports and wrestling memorabilia as well as legendary sports figure appearances, including right now. That's right. If you head over to George's in the Chamonix Mall, the former WWE star, the Native American Tatanka, he'll be there until 1 o'clock. So hop in the car, turn on 1490, listen to Pro Wrestling Weekly as you make your way to the Neshaminy Mall. Now, if hockey's more your style, like maybe intern Jack Spears here at WBCB, as I've found out, well, Flyers backup goalie Michael Newvirth will make his first public appearance this coming Friday, October 23rd from 7 to 8 p.m. in the Neshaminy Mall Sports Cards and Collectibles Show. Now, of course, you can check out George's 3 locations for all your sports and wrestling memorabilia needs, including their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Fairless Hills, on the lower level of the Oxford Valley Mall next to the Sears Court, and where you should head over right now to see Tatanka in the Neshaminy Mall at the AMC Theater Wing. Now, for more information on upcoming signings, collectibles, and more, you can give George's a call at 215-943-2475, or you can go to georgescollectibles.com. Those are the best ways to get a hold of George's. And also, starting November 1st, only a couple of weeks away, there will be a holiday store for George's Cards and Collectibles in the Willow Grove Park Mall. So how about that for all you folks in Central Bucks County? They'll be on the third level between Sears and the food court. A fourth holiday-style store, easy for me to say, from George's Cards and Collectibles for all of your various sports memorabilia needs. So looking to get your kid a replica title belt for the holiday? That's certainly one way to go, or certain autographed memorabilia. There's a litany of stuff at George's. You definitely want to go ahead and check them out. All righty, some other news and notes. The Halloween weekend tour dates removed from the Impact Wrestling schedule. That's right, TNA Impact Wrestling has removed the tour dates that were scheduled from October 29th through November 1st from their live events page listing. No official explanation has been provided regarding the canceled dates. The only shows currently on the schedule are the January 29th to 31st events in the United Kingdom. And speaking of the UK, Harry Smith getting an old new name. That's right. Former WWE star Harry Smith announced yesterday on social media that he has acquired the rights to use his father, Davey Boy Smith's legendary ring name. He posted, quote, "A big announcement to be made. Ownership and trademark of the name British Bulldog have been granted, won, and paid by me. Now going forward in Pro Wrestling Noah, I will be known as the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith Jr." So congrats on the new name for the son of the late wrestling legend, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, getting the naming rights to I guess, his father's legacy. Also, the stuff with Evolve, where to start with that. Well, there's kind of stuff going back and forth with the Evolve promotion, including an NXT star appearing at an Evolve event. Evolve announcing that Sami Zayn will take part in a meet and greet for VIP ticket holders. and will make in-ring appearances at the weekend events in New York. However, Zayn will not appear on the iPay-per-view broadcast that will go on tonight in Queens, New York, and tomorrow in Deer Park, New York. Now, on the flip side, Evolve Talent is featured on the WWE website. That's right, WWE's NXT website has a feature on 5 Evolve Talents while questioning whether they could be the next breakout NXT stars. Now, Evolve addressed their relationship with WWE in a press release, reading in part, quote, "You have supported us and you deserve answers. This is the absolute truth. There are no answers." That's brilliant. Yes, there is obviously a growing relationship. What direction it will take is unknown. There are rumors and speculation, but this relationship changes and develops almost weekly. This is a road that has never been traveled before. There is no precedent. We will all find out where this road goes together. There is no telling what will happen next. Kind of a lot like this show, isn't it? Oh, goodness. Also, a WWE star named keynote speaker for the Navy UDT SEAL Museum Festival. That's a mouthful. That's right. The Navy UDT SEAL Museum has announced their primary speaker for the 30th annual Muster and Music Festival weekend. Thaddeus Bullard, who's that? Also known as WWE superstar Titus O'Neil, will deliver the keynote address for the festive and commemorative event being held on Veterans Day weekend. So congrats to Titus O'Neil. Always good to show some love to those who have shown some love to us here on the show in the past. And you can go back and listen to that interview with Titus O'Neil. I want to say it was from February of last year. It was the very first YouTube upload. Plus, we also have it. I believe the archive is still up at WBCB1490.com. So a couple of different ways to check that out. Also, the Tribute to the Troops taping and air date has been announced. That's right, WWE announcing that the event itself will be held on December 8th at Veterans Memorial Arena at the Jacksonville, Florida Naval Air Station. And the event will air on USA Network on December 23rd from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. No mention of NBC in the press release. Things kind of dwindling, I guess, just a little bit as far as coverage of the Tribute to the Troops. Things kind of dwindling as well with ratings. I'll get into that coming up on the other side of another timeout coming shortly. Also, this shouldn't surprise really anybody, but Hogan's Beach Restaurant is no longer in business. That's right. The Tampa, Florida-based operation that used the Hulk Hogan theme has closed its doors and disabled its website. I don't know how much of that is slow business, as the restaurants are getting pretty much hit hard across the board, and how much of it has to do with the lawsuit with Gawker.com regarding the sex tape and racial slurs that came out of the leaked transcript from said tape. I don't know. Could be one, could be the other, could be a little bit of both. Just kind of throwing that out there, I guess, for lack of a better term. Oh, yeah. Also, a casting call has been placed for an NXT show aimed at children. That's right. WWE putting out a casting call notice for an NXT pilot looking for kids, and those kids between the age of 7 and 14 of all ethnicities. Wow. I wonder which ones will actually be on TV, though. Oh, yeah, I know. Ripping WWE just a little bit. It's what I do. Oh, goodness. Anyway, the shows would be taped monthly on Thursday nights at Full Sail University. The children would serve as, quote, announcers, backstage interviewers, and presenters. And the call notes that they must be good talkers, have high energy, be quick on their feet, and have an understanding and familiarity with WWE programming. So, yeah, how about that? Something, Lucas, that you're too old for.
That is not fair.
Yeah, I said it. Oh, goodness. All right, we're going to take care of another bit of business here, and then we'll come back with, I've got the spotlight on the Good Housekeeping match. That's what I was talking about earlier. Going to do a little housekeeping here. That happened on this date 16 years ago. And we've, of course, got the rest of today in wrestling history. We've got birthdays coming up, just to name a few things. But also, got to tell you about my favorite beer spot, the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol. That's right, Broken Goblet Brewing, breaking your perspective on how you experience craft beer, because broken can be beautiful. Now, only a few tickets are still left for next Saturday's Hoppy Halloween 2 Beer Fest. A litany of libations and participating breweries, 21 in all. Plus food from the Dog and Bull restaurant, hop fries, and Foolish Waffles. I took a look at their page earlier. The Foolish Waffles look intriguing. Waffles prepared and toppings that you would never think would go well together, and I'm kind of interested to see how they would pair with some of the various beers that'll be offered at it. Plus, there'll be music, vendors, a whole bunch more. It all goes down at the Broken Goblet next Saturday, October 24th, from 4 until 8 p.m. Yeah, you definitely want to check that out, and I'd say it's pretty safe to say you'll see me there in some capacity as well. Yeah, just to give you little bit of a prelude, for lack of a better term. Plus, there's another event coming up in November. That's right, it's called Thanks for the Laughs, an over-the-top night of comedy and beer with Don Jameson and Jim Florentine. That's going to be Wednesday, November 25th, Thanksgiving Eve. That's right, a new Thanksgiving Eve tradition. Sorry, Survivor Series. The night before Turkey Day. Tickets are extremely limited. It will sell out. In fact, the tickets are already half sold out, and it's more than a month away. First beer is complimentary with your ticket purchase. You can check that out. The link is at brokengoblet.com. So yeah, just a couple of things that are brewing, pun slightly intended, at the Broken Goblet Brewery. Of course, open Wednesdays through Sundays. It's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. You can check them out on the web at brokengoblet.com. That's Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Anyway, we're going to take care of our second time out. We'll get to the Facebook feedback coming up on the other side. Also, a look at the Good Housekeeping match, as there's a little bit of history to be shown with that. We might even have a little chat with Ted Efaw coming up on the other side as well. Plus the birthdays, still a lot to do, and only about 10 or so minutes to do it in, as we've got high school football coming up at 12:45, and we'll be preempted next week for high school football as well, but I believe that is the last of the shortenings and preemptions for the season. Knock wood. I don't know. Things change minute by minute around here at WBCB. I just watch for the changes and try to keep up. And they pay me to do that and talk here on the radio and do other fun things. Anyway, this is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, October 17. On this date in 1994, WWF Monday Night Raw aired live from Burlington, Vermont. In the featured match, Jeff Jarrett pinned Doink the Clown. On this date in 1999, the WWF held its No Mercy pay-per-view. In the main event, Triple H pinned Steve Austin in an Anything Goes match to retain the WWF Championship. On this date in 2005, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Sacramento, California. In the main event, Kane won an 18-man battle royal to qualify for the Taboo Tuesday main event online vote. On this date in 2011, WWE Monday Night Raw aired on tape delay from Mexico City. In the main event, John Cena and Jim Ross defeated Alberto Del Rio and Michael Cole in a tag team match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, October 17. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Ted Efaw.
I'm here.
Joining us in studio. Just, you know what it is? I get lonely nowadays, so I kind of need somebody in here to just, I don't know. It's a different experience doing doing a talk show solo as opposed to having somebody to kind of bounce something off of.
Sure.
It's two completely different dynamics. And
different day parts always have a play in it too. Weekends, I mean, there's all kind of things that can play into that. You could get a crowd banging on your door per se, and others that are listening but they're doing their errands. And
exactly. Or in this case, maybe heading over to George's Cards and Collectibles to meet Tatanka, which you still have about 20 minutes to do so. Exactly.
Really?
I know. I know I'm hammering at home a little bit, but that's right. I had a Tatanka story that I was going to get into. So we're gonna take a trip back to 1994 for this one. I was the ripe young age of, I want to say 13 at the time, maybe 12 or 13. It was in the summer, so I may or may not have just turned 13.
Making me feel old already. I won't tell you how old I was in 1994, but you could figure it out.
Well, I was going to say you already had a stint here at BCB at that point. That
dates me already.
That is common knowledge to some degree, but you were right out of college at that point, I'm sure. Maybe still. Well, you know what? Hey, we had a high schooler here on the program in Lucas. So I mean, you had a really early start. We'll go with that.
That's good.
I am so trying to bail out of this. But anyway, there was a wrestler signing. It was Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, and Tatanka were at the old Philly Park racetrack, now known as Parks Casino.
Yeah.
And they were doing an autograph signing there prior to wrestling at a house show that was going to be at the Spectrum. Yeah, that thing that predates the Wells Fargo Center that was located where Xfinity Live is now.
That's right.
Yeah, for those in.
Couple
what is
Stanley
the Spectrum
Cups were
that
won
they're talking
there.
about?
That's
Yeah, an NBA championship too.
That's right.
And I think 4 Wings championships before they decided lacrosse in Philadelphia weren't a thing a couple of years ago. I'm still bitter about that too. I'm just really bitter today. I don't know what the heck it is. I'm firing pot shots left, right, and sideways, and I'm gonna catch hell for it later. I can guarantee it. You may not hear me back here in 2 weeks. I don't know. Maybe laid up in a hospital or something. People coming after me.
Speaking of being laid up in the hospital, wrestling.
Exactly. Wrestling, my story. Very good comeback to it. So the lines to meet the two individuals were very, very, very long. And it was getting late into the run of the autograph session, and they kind of announced that, all right, they have to start making their way down to the Spectrum to get ready, but we'll kind of parade you through for a quick handshake, hello type thing. And that day I was wearing this green and white all-over print Tatanka T-shirt that the WWF had sold at the time. And to his credit, Tatanka, seeing that, he stopped the line for just a second and autographed one of the photos for me, and then kept the line because I was wearing, one of his part of his merchandise.
Yeah, sure.
And he really appreciated it. So I was able to get an autograph that I wasn't expecting because I was so far back in the line from Tatanka, just out of the goodness of his heart.
Wow. Now, have you told him that story?
It was so long. I met him a few years ago, and I forget. I think because I was so starstruck at the time, I forget if that story came out. And I had my opportunity today, but I was here prepping for the show. So I don't know. I'm sure there'll be another opportunity down the road to check out Tatanka, and that would be a fun story to bring up from, at this point, 21 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's one of those tug at the heartstring type things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that wrestlers are. That's kind of an idea of how this business is.
See, that's great because there's a lot of, as you know, sports players who play professional are not what they seem.
No.
Some sports are a little more friendlier than others. Hockey, for example, is very, very good. Baseball can be.
Well, I mean, it's mostly difficult. Canadians, and they know their manners there, eh?
Sure. That's it.
You know that you know how it is, eh?
Now you're Canadian.
I'm part Canadian. My mom was born in. Oh gosh. Was she born up in there? It was either Timmins or North Bay, Ontario, and
Did you live
my
there
family.
at all?
She up till the age of 13, and then the family moved down here into the Philadelphia area when she was a teenager.
Okay, so you did not live.
So
there.
no, I did not live there. It's just when I go up to see the various relatives, it's like a second home for me.
Sure, I'll bet. Wow. No, but I mean that's cool that you have that memory, and I would think he'd appreciate it too. I know we're running out of time.
Yeah,
it's not a wrestling story, but I'll give you a quick story. Larry Boa was one of my heroes when I was a kid, and I got there really early, and I'm standing there, and I'm waiting. 20 minutes, he comes out, and I yell, "Hey, Larry, can I get your autograph?" He goes, "We have a team meeting." He disappears. I'm waiting another 25 minutes. He comes out again. "Hey, Larry, can I get your autograph?" He goes, "I got a team meeting." He disappears again. Now, at this point, I've got
how many team meetings? I guess that's why they were world champs in 1980.
Well, this was before that. So we've got now a bunch of other kids are around me, and he comes out again. It's just packed. So everybody's yelling, "Hey, Larry, Larry!" And he did a double take, saw me, ran right over to me, and he said, "I'm only signing for this kid." And he signed it and went back. So I'm walking back to my seat. These kids, I hear them going, "Who's that guy?" They don't know. I was waiting there 45 minutes.
Yeah, good things come to those who wait.
So he becomes manager of the Phillies, and I have him on my old talk show. I tell him this story, and I said, "So tell me, at the end, there was no team meeting, was there?" And he goes, "Well, there might have been." I said, "Come on, I've covered the Phillies. There's no team meeting." And he says, "No, there wasn't." He goes, "But thank God I gave you that autograph, huh?" So this is at least a happy story. You can tell your buddy there, so you should tell him that. But anyway, we're our backs to the wall here now, aren't we?
Well, I was going to say, I haven't gotten any word from the philosopher Chris Irmer, so I don't know. I mean, he said 10:45 or 12:45-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, can't even get my hours straight here. I'm all bass backwards today. I will bring this up as it's a historical note, for lack of a better term, and I've been kind of teasing it over the course of the last 45 minutes. The Good Housekeeping match. Now, as you heard in the Today in Wrestling History, the No Mercy pay-per-view that occurred on this date in 1999, well, at the time, wrestler Jeff Jarrett was on his way out of the WWF and was going to head to WCW. Now, Vince Russo, the writer at the time, came up with the idea to have Jarrett show some chauvinistic behavior towards women's wrestler Chyna, leading up to an eventual title match. Russo decided to extend the feud another month before jumping ship to WCW himself. That's right, the month extension led to the Intercontinental title match being at No Mercy, which was one day past the end of Jarrett's contract. So Jarrett didn't have to wrestle at the pay-per-view because he wasn't contractually obligated. Being the professional that Jarrett was, he said, "Sure, I'll wrestle Chyna at No Mercy for $250,000. And Vince McMahon paid it. Jarrett lost the IC title to Chyna, and Jarrett went back to WCW and really hasn't been in the good graces of WWE since, and that was 16 years ago. We are cleared to head over to...
you want to get in Chris's good...
get in Chris's good graces. All right, then I will... Shoot, this will probably be the shortest and quickest segment of
birthdays
ever. But on this date in 1957, Steve McMichael was born, the former WCW United States champion and Super Bowl winning defensive tackle for the '85 Bears, known as Mongo McMichael, turns 58 today. Wow. On this date in 1988, Christina Crawford was born, the younger sister of WWE diva Alicia Fox, an NFL cheerleader, and former WWE and NXT diva best known as Kaylee Turner, turns 27 today. Yeah, former wrestler at the age of 27, but now she's a cheerleader for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So warm weather and the whole cheerleading, might have to become a Bucks fan of things. No, okay, maybe not. But I do like the Tampa area. And just for the absent Lucas, because I know how much of a fan he is of him, and since it's in the celebrity pantheon, on this date in 1972, Marshall Bruce Mathers III was born. The songwriter, rapper, and record producer known as Eminem turns 43 today. So happy birthday to all of you. That's going to do it for me here as we're going to make our way over to high school football here on WBCB. Sure, it's about, 12 minutes of?
1 o'clock and all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB Levittown.